What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Jonathan Irizarry, and we have Dr. Amy Lewis from Legacy Chiropractic. So today, I was kind of describing some of the things that I was having issues with my body, and a lot of it had to do with some of like the glute and hip here on the left side. So Amy's going to run through certain things that she feels would obviously benefit me in being able to activate these muscles again and get everything firing so that I can continue to be the best version of myself in the gym. But I'm going to let her talk now and do her thing.
So I know last week we kind of worked on a little bit of that hip flexor. So I have found over the years with bodybuilders, sometimes they'll come in and they're like, this glute's not firing. Well, I'll be like, okay, well, let's check the hip flexors. And they're like, oh, my hip flexors are fine. I've been stretching them. They're good. Come to find out, they can be tight. And when they are tight, they'll pull that pelvis out. And when that pelvis is rotated even just a little bit, it can prevent that glute from firing properly. So typically that's where I'm going to start, is just to check really deep into that hip flexor. And honestly, people don't realize that that hip flexor actually comes in and attaches like way down here.
Wow.
So it can affect just the whole way the leg is functioning. So you know, I've had patients that sometimes we have to get up into that area and just really kind of loosen that insertion point of that hip flexor to get that glute properly firing again. So that's kind of where we're going to start. We're just going to check that, and then we're actually going to check the glute muscles, hamstrings, and low back, and make sure that there's not something that is causing an imbalance that would be preventing that from firing properly. So let's go on your back, face up for me. Okay, so both legs straight for me, and remember how we did that last week? Arms straight, fingers straight, and let's go here, and again let's look at those fingertips.
Terrible.
So you can see you're still a little bit short on that left side. And is it the left side or right side that's not been firing?
It's the left
The
side.
left. Okay, yeah. So that kind of goes along with what I was saying. When that hip flexor is kind of pulling, it's going to cause that to kind of not fire properly. So we're going to start. Hip flexor.
Ooh, pain.
So we're going to bring the knee up here for me. So I'm just going to be right on the inside of that hip bone here. I'm going to just put a little bit of pressure through here, and then I'm just going to kind of rock that knee on you. Actually got a little better grip. Your legs are heavy. I got to work on them. So there are definitely some hip flexor stretches and things like that that you can do at home. Some good yoga stretches as well that are good for hip flexors. Sometimes it can be a little hard. You know, like I said, I've had some people that are like, oh, my hip flexors are fine, I stretch them all the time, but they're really not getting into that insertion point of that hip flexor. So I'm going to get into that a little bit today and just kind of see if we can't really get that released a little better.
I can even feel that right there.
Yeah. So what you're going to do for me now is you're going to slide that knee or the ankle down for me. I'm going to have you take a deep breath for me first.
Let me take these off, just so I can slide them.
Okay, deep breath all the way out. As you breathe out, I'm going to get onto that hip flexor and go ahead and slide for me. Good. Let's do 3 more here. Ooh, I should do like you do when we're working out and be like, okay, we're done. Nope, 5 more.
Those are the trainer reps.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. Personal, we're gonna get on the insertion of that hip flexor. So I'm gonna have you just kind of take your hand and kind of protect yourself for me.
Okay.
And again, I'm just gonna get right down into that insertion point there. Just make sure it's not, yeah, a little bit tight. Doing okay?
Yep.
So again, a lot of times just getting into these insertion points are not always a place that we stretch well when we are doing stretching. So even if you are doing a lot of in-home hip flexor stretching, this isn't necessarily always getting as much of a stretch as it needs. Tightness through there. Okay, now I'm gonna have you go on your side and we're gonna face that way. And we're actually gonna hit this hip flexor. So now I'm just gonna kind of come around, get on the other side of this QL and just kind of come into the back side of this hip flexor. So what you're gonna do for me here is just take that top knee and you're gonna go knee to your chest. Good, and back down. And I know we did a little bit of this last week, but it kind of goes to show you that it does need some repetition with some of it. The hands are not near as off today, which tells me that hip flexor is not near as tight today, and it doesn't feel as tight, but it definitely is still tensing up and tightening up. So I think that is what's causing a lot of that deactivation of that glute muscle. Good, let's do 3 more. Good. Okay, on your back again. And let's check those hands again.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look at that.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and we'll go face down, and I'm just gonna again check hamstring, glute, and see what's going on with those.
Cool.
So that left hip is pulling out just a little bit on you. Not as bad as last week either though, so that's excellent.
That's good. I think that's why it's important that we have to keep coming back.
Absolutely. As hard as you push yourself in the gym, it's
Exactly.
okay. So let's just do a little bit of work to loosen this hamstring here. I'm going to have you do that motion for me now. So relax down for just a second. Now go ahead and go. So with this, I'm just trying to get that stretch through different parts of the muscle belly. And just making sure that it's not just stretching in the loose part of the muscle. A lot of times if we're just doing a static stretch, we're really just stretching through the part of the muscle that's already willing to stretch. When we do a little bit of the active release and things like that, we're putting pressure into different parts of that muscle and belly that may not be as willing to stretch, and it's actually forcing it to stretch from those pressure points. So we're kind of changing the insertion points of that muscle. Let's do 2 more here. And then I'm just going to kind of hook in on this IT band and just get a little bit of a stretch through that.
Yeah, that's where a lot of it
Yeah.
is super tight.
The IT band is also a big place to cause knee pain. So anytime that gets tight, the way it pulls on that knee, it's a big culprit of that. People that have desk jobs or that just do a lot of driving, things like that, or cyclists, we find the IT band can be super, super tight on. And it causes a lot of hip and knee pains as well. So really getting that loosened up and stretched out can be super beneficial. Some Graston is great for it. It really breaks up any scar tissue and any adhesions that are in there. Okay, now let's get right on top of that glute. The glute actually doesn't feel too bad today. Typically when I'm going into that, I'm feeling for any kind of like spasm or resistance in there.
Yeah, it was definitely doing that last time.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing this, I can feel where a lot of the pulling and stuff is coming.
Where are you feeling it?
Like I can feel it like kind of pulling into the lower back a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize how much things like hamstrings and glutes can actually rotate that pelvis out and cause that pulling through the low back. A lot of people think it is just a low back problem, and the reality is it's the whole system that...
Right, but I can feel like how. I can definitely feel the hip here as well. Not in a bad way, obviously, like just where where there's those deficiencies, and really being able to point them out to me and get that connection. Yeah, a lot of this is right there.
Let's get this hip adjusted. So I'm just going to use that drop table in here. Super easy today. So definitely moving better through there, which is great.
You know, I've been doing some consistent like movement stuff in the mornings.
Can you go over that, the back draping for you with the foam roller?
Do I?
Yeah, did you go over it at all?
No, we didn't. But I do it.
Do you do it where you're just laying in one spot?
I roll it, but
I want you to start laying in one spot.
Okay.
Really kind of open this up some.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of do that today too.
So now if I get this fixed, or when.
Okay, let's go on your side. The right side up for me first.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually glad I didn't eat.
Good. Other side for me. So I'm going to hit a little bit back farther in the QL on this side. So we've already done a little bit of that hip flexor, but I'm going to get onto that lumbar paraspinal and that QL here.
Yep.
So let's do that same thing for me.
Yeah, it's already feeling better.
Good. Stay there for me. Okay, let's bend the top knee. And roll your back. Okay, stay in there. Scoot that hip under just a tiny bit more. Good. And let's just do deep breath over here. On the other side. It's actually what that box was for. It was
Yeah.
some of those power lifters. You have to pull it out to get them off. Okay, let's go ahead and go. Come over here and let's sit in the chair. Go up and down here with this arm. Okay, we're just gonna loosen those traps.
It's like a major stress area.
So many people don't realize how much tension they actually carry through there.
I know this is gonna help a lot of people get them to see things.
Okay, let's do a little bit of work through that neck. I'm gonna have you go chin to your chest for me, all the way to your left. Good. Back up. So I know a lot of times some of this stuff can look a little bit scary, when you're working on someone Jonathan's size, you have to use a little bit more pressure, a little bit more force, so it can look a little bit more intimidating. But as far as a lot of these techniques, they can be modified for anybody of any size. You don't have to use the same amount of pressure. You know, we adjust even babies and things like that, and when we're working with them, we're literally using fingertips. So, you know, there's several different ways to do any of these techniques. There's several different muscle techniques and things like that. There's several different adjusting techniques. So there's a lot of variation in how we treat, what we treat, and who we treat.
I was just stuck on the thought of adjusting babies.
They're the easy ones.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. We'll have to bring Charlie in and watch it.
That would be fun.
He's so funny. He'll get on like the adjusting table at home and like lay face down and wait.
I love it. He's gonna be a future doctor. You learn from the best.
Yeah. Let's see. See what he wants to do with his arm. Who knows? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and tuck the chin here. Bring it back. We're just gonna rotate.
Man, my neck feels so much better. Holy crap. Feels so loose.
Same thing other side here. I'm gonna tuck that chin on you. Just gonna bring you over. And take a deep breath for me. Good. Come on. Smooth and super easy.
All right, guys, so that concludes the video with Dr. Amy Lewis. If you guys have been following my channel for quite some time, you've seen some videos with her in the past. I have been visiting Dr. Amy for what is now 8 years. She is the best chiropractor that I've found here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She is located in North Dallas. The address will be right here on the screen below for you guys. I will also link it in the description box. You will also find her website link on there where you can schedule an appointment with her anytime you want. Make sure you guys let her know that if you found her from this video, let her know you saw this here on there. But guys, look, you'll be looking forward to lots more content with Dr. Amy, because I want to obviously show you guys her and the work that she does and she provides over at her office, and you can see exactly how she's been able to help me stay fit and healthy over the years, and of course keeping my body intact while I beat it up every single day. But anyways, once again, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and look out for some more content with Amy and I. So anyways, peace out.